to love. Could this be the key? The sweetness of love may be frightening to those who dream but don't want to believe that love has a power all of its own, which can't be anticipated nor manipulated. Do you have a choice with whom you fall in love? Who chooses someone that only I can see? I love you, you love me. But love don't love nobody at all, yet controls our destiny. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right. We do a lot of stuff.
We went there, and he was there. Many years ago, during
Oh, yes, yes.
he was there. He was really funny. I remember now. I remember
It's better looking now. That's better looking.
Some parts it's other parts you build up, break down.
What charge?
Oh, really?
He's going to read that.
Can I do that? You gonna let me do that?
I don't want no heavy horn, man. I want something like that.
I mean, I know.
That's what I am.
Are you so what's that? You do the thousand
7 and 11 to parole. How about that, John? Actually, I think we're going to have to apologize to John. How you doing? Are you ready? Or?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to close out actually with a composition and a poet by the name of John Ferris, who's known throughout the land, to say the least. John's going to close this out with a poem here to he needs a candle holder. Do you have that, John? Maria?
I got a candle holder right there.
There you are. All right. Heidi's going to candle holder.
I got to have the coat. I got to get That's the hole.
Okay, the first part of this I read a couple of weeks ago, but I added some more. So I'm going to reprise the first part, then go into the second part.
I gotta hear all that shit. I just want to hear the second part. I want to hear the second part. I want to hear the second part. I want to hear the second part.
Yeah. Okay.
Get to it. Second part. Second part.
All right. This is for Amadou Diallo.
Second part.
And it's called Heritage, and I'm not listening to Steve Cannon, and don't you listen to him either. Heritage for Amadou Diallo. I was born in 1940 on Manhattan, island of hills, place of inebriations, placer of muskrat, beaver, and mink. My ancestors built a wall for the Dutch to keep them contained, out like a line in the sand, being thereby kept both in and out, effectively dividing themselves against themselves for the patroons. Ironically, a minuet set to governance, elegance itself in broad felt hat and plume, pumps with great shiny buckles, himself named Minuet, the drollery of tin clay pipe, as good a symbol of any of this authority over life and over death, his staff. Set to this at cutlass point, the refrain of the constant threat of whipping, the promise of musket balls between the defenseless blades of shoulders, the elegance of rope necklaces. My ancestors learned to dance on air, the traditional melancholy melody of broken windpipes, blues, to twist, to cool jerk, to a battery of drums from the harbor, the fusillade. Immigrant for the martyr Amadou Diallo. Poor fellow, he merely made the mistake of being a young man who took Emma Lazarus at her word, a poet, and having had not much else, brought hope all the way from home with him to the Bronx, following the trail of minerals and contorted bodies that stacked next to the lamp the silent statue held would stretch 10,000 times beyond that dim light, at least to where in his imagination he had marked the tattered map he held up with an X for the Bronx, thus revealing right away to any the inscription, the legend, to be not in stone but copper, and so much hubris. In that harsh light, he might have recognized them for who they were when they came to him for the selection. In that peculiar light, he might have recognized the golden door the poet spoke of as the one that had been spoken of by his ancestors as the door of no return. In that brilliant glare, he would have known who they were exactly when they came for him, and groveling, prostrated himself.
Wait, one more. One more.
presumption of guilt. According to the report, it was fishy to begin with. Being in dim light and black on Wheeler, alone. What was he doing with a wallet and sneakers without a basketball? He should have had a gun. It was assumed he did. He should have run. It was assumed he would. Shot, he might have gotten up. It was assumed he might fly right into the face of a stiff barrage. It was assumed he was a stiff. He should have been a stiff. It was assumed he would offer stiff resistance. The crumpled way he lay there in dim light, stiff as a coat hanger. It was assumed he might get up. It was assumed he might do something. At that point, he wouldn't move.
John Ferris, 3 selections. Or was it 2 selections? 3 selections. How about that? Once again, as I say, we like to have, give everyone a platform here in Parole.
Congratulations.
Well, hopefully as soon as he finishes Sunday's report work, we're going to get Mr. David Henderson to come here and do a little something. Very busy.
I should tell Khalil about it.
Yeah, do that.
I know he'll find something. Look over there. You can open it. We need something white underneath. Look at Mission Impossible. That's the name of this project.
I think that is a huge experience. Tiene una galería en el East. Todavía vimos su material.
get the cover. I didn't get the cover.
Sí, la araña. Solo que no tengo ya la rodilla para cubrir a la araña. A glass of wine. Solo de paper.
That old black magic. That's the old black. You need some bad luck. Good luck doesn't help. Damn, I'm going for the bad luck. I'm for the bad luck. The good luck is killing me.
Done.
Done.